Hello, I'm Jack Williams, the creator of the Ideals Leadership School and the Student Athlete Leadership Team program, which we call SALT. Both of our programs were created with one goal in mind, and that is to help high school student athletes develop into positive role models and become more effective leaders. Let's first understand that right or wrong, our society has placed athletes at all levels of competition in positions of role models, and that's not going to change. They don't get to choose that role, it chooses them. The only choice our athletes have is what type of role model they'll be. SALT was created because of the demand by high schools to have more of their athletes participate in the curriculum of our traditional Ideals Leadership School. It's been operating all the way back since 1993. Our SALT program takes our leadership school curriculum and its model and converts it to a program that can be implemented in each high school at a time that's most convenient to them. Now through SALT, each high school can have 3 athletes from each of their respective teams participate, and they receive the exact same type of training as our leadership program. This means that each school can have 30 to 40 student athletes going through our curriculum each year. The program is broken into 8 one-hour sessions, with each session consisting of a short DVD message followed by discussion and exercises. The program is actually led by senior student athletes from each school, using our Ideals SALT Facilitator Guide to do so. All of our SALT student athletes are also required to mentor an underclassman their senior year. All of the SALT participants also begin receiving our monthly Ideals Moment their senior year in high school, and will continue to receive them all the way through college. This way they'll receive 45 messages on topics related to personal development, character, and life skills. I want to encourage you to just take a minute and do 3 things. Take a look at some of the short clips from our DVD series, review our SALT brochure, and read over our frequently asked questions document, all of which can be found on this website. My vision for our SALT program is to have 50,000 high school student athletes from all sports participating in our program each year, and then mentoring another 50,000 young people. Thanks for giving me a minute to share our SALT program with you. I hope now that you can see why we're excited about our mission and the impact that we can have on these young people.
There will be challenges along the road for you as a role model. By the video, you can tell that one challenge is to not get into a full court brawl with the fans, even if someone throws a beer on you. And not to steal your grandmother's car, even if you do think it's fun to do bad things with your friends. 1, you will have to keep your cool in situations even when you do not want to. 2, your name should be everything to you, keeping your family name untarnished and undefiled. 3, you are representing your school or organization. No matter who you are representing someone. 4, as a positive role model, you will be confronted with the right decision versus the popular decision. Always go with the right decision. And 5, everything, and I mean everything, is seen by those around you. And this gets frustrating and overwhelming at times, but it's what a positive role model is about. The reward is always greater than the struggle.
I decided to go through an exercise of writing down in sentence form those things that I believed in. I began writing them down using sentences that began with the 2 words, I believe. This was a great exercise for me because it helped me shape my values in decision making. These principles have been the foundational building blocks of my life and have guided the choices that I've made during it. If you and I don't have a foundation, we can easily make poor decisions that we later regret. This was a very intense exercise because when you begin writing words that are preceded by the 2 words, I believe, you better be careful what you write.
Reality says you happen to be a person who has some athletic ability. Usually it's a combination of God-given talent with a personal commitment to develop that talent. Let's be clear, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Hopefully you took those God-given talents and added to that a great work ethic, a drive to compete, and a strong desire to be the best you can be. Many of you have accomplished some special things through your careers, even at your young age, and you should feel good about that. I want to make sure that we clarify what feel good means and what it doesn't mean.
Now, let's go to the next key point. This is a fun one. I like to refer to it as the get-its and the distractors model. I'm going to use a bell-shaped curve diagram on your screen here to illustrate this point. On every team, there are three groups of people. It can be an athletic team, it can be a business organization, it doesn't matter. It applies to any group that involves people. On the left side of the curve, you see the little indications there. You have what I call the get-its. These are the members of your team who get it. They understand what's important, they're committed, they follow the coach and the leadership team, they follow the standards you set. They are doing what's necessary to be a successful team. Now, on the other side of that curve are what let's call the distractors. These are the players who don't want to do what's necessary. They like the perks of being on the team, but they aren't willing to work. Then there's that big group in the middle, let's call the winnables. At the beginning of each year, this usually starts out as your biggest group compared to the get-its and the distractors.
How are you today? Okay, I heard a few greats out there, goods out there, maybe an outstanding or an excellent. Let me share something with you. I learned this from an individual named Boaz Roshwerger, who came to one of my business leaders groups, and he talked about the Tiberius success formula. His mom was from Tiberias. She lost 4 siblings during the Holocaust, but he said she never had a bad day in her whole life. And what Boaz did is much like I asked you, he went around the room and he asked each business owner, how are you doing today? And he got similar type answers. Good, great, fair, outstanding, excellent. And then he asked the group, who would you rather work with? And what do you think they said? They went with a person who said outstanding. And he said, well, outstanding and excellent are both good. They're not good enough. And he gave us one word that I want to share with you now. So from now on, when anybody asks you how you're doing, one word answer, one word only, unbelievable. Listen to the sound, resonance. Unbelievable. And if you're not, then Boaz told us to fake it until you make it. Try this. It's a game changer. It changes your attitude, it changes the way people perceive you, and everybody wants to be around people that are unbelievable.
We first have to understand that there will always be consequences associated with our decisions. Good or bad, there will always be consequences. Sometimes those consequences have a tail on them, and by that I mean they last for a while, long after the decision's been made. A professional athlete once said in a commercial, we all make decisions, and ultimately our decisions make us. We'll come back to who that athlete was in a minute. That's the second key point to remember. Let me say it again. We all make decisions. Ultimately, our decisions make us.
I want to share with you some specific things that you can do to make yourself a more effective leader. Be focused on the right things and be goal-oriented. Make sure you and your team don't get distracted. You must keep them focused. Deal with situations, not problems. Situations don't become problems until you mishandle the situation. Try to deal with things while they are still a situation. Trust me, it's a lot easier. Number 8, create high expectations. The more you expect, the more you will accomplish. Athletes should not be intimidated by aggressive goals. I assure you that if you lower your expectations, people will quickly adapt to meet them.
If you can remember the word goal, you can be successful in achieving a goal. Each letter stands for one of the goal-setting process. G stands for game plan, O stands for orientation, A stands for adversity, and L stands for love list. All right, for all you guys out there, I see your eyes rolling and I hear the moans when I mention love list, but hang with me on this love list thing and I'll explain what I'm talking about in a few minutes.
One of the things we all need to understand is that we don't know everything. I know we all at different times feel we can handle anything thrown our way, but the facts say otherwise. There are people out there who've experienced what you either have experienced, are, or will experience, and they can save you a lot of pain, frustration, time, and potentially failure if you would just reach out and ask them for help. One of the key things for all of us to understand is this simple fact. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not of weakness. It shows you are mature enough to understand the statement above, that you really don't know everything.